Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, see it and purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. Today we discuss the Ressence Type 5G. G for gray, 46mm in grade 5 titanium and copious amounts of sapphire. This is the Ressence dive watch. On my 16cm circumference wrist, we're going to zoom out a little bit and get a sense of it in proportion. It's more comfortable for a small wrist than you'd expect. I can recommend it for arms as small as 14.5cm circumference. Big is the style, but the fit is outstanding. First of all, 51.5mm lug-to-lug means it's really just like wearing a 40mm Rolex Daytona on the bracelet, and 15.7mm thick is thinner than I expected. The watch has a wonderful camber to its lugs, so they're short and tightly downturned. They wrap around your wrist, and the spacing between the lugs is 24mm, which is a more and more popular size, so you'll have a bevy of aftermarket options. The factory piece is handsome. Thin with sheer-cut sides, it has a differential color for the calfskin top and bottom, wonderfully supple and soft. It's matched to a Clevis-style grade 5 titanium pin buckle, which is outstanding because there is no default design at Ressence. Appreciate the fact that not only is there a recess for the pin buckle within the actual frame of the clasp, but you can see that the pin features an engraved Ressence hand on the tip of the pin within the buckle. That is attention to detail. Now the case band is minimalist. I say it's 46mm in grade 5 titanium, but this is the titanium component. It's basically just a sliver of sparkling metal. The rest is comprised of the setting mechanism on the back, the rotating unidirectional dive bezel, and the enormous cambered sapphire on the top. Now let's talk about what makes the Type 5 different from, for example, the Type 3, which is also oil-filled. First and foremost, the size. It's bigger and bolder and easier to read. Second, the locking system. You can lock the actual setting mechanism on the case back so you can't accidentally budge it. Because the idea behind a unidirectional rotating dive bezel is you can't accidentally extend your dive. But if you can actually move the indications of the dial, that needs to be locked too. So you have the unidirectional rotating dive bezel that you can line up with the regulator minute hand. Let me show you how everything works on the dial side of this watch. You can set it just by turning the case back. It has no crown. When you unlock the mechanism and put it in the setup mode, you can turn everything, and it is a regulator. You might not think of it that way, but that's what it is. As you can see, hours, minutes, and seconds, which freewheel wildly, are separate. And once I set the minute hand to 12, you'll see that right now it is exactly 2 o'clock. I have a temperature gauge for the 37.5 milliliters of oil that fill the dial side. The Ressence orbital convex system, the 142-part proprietary modular movement on top of the ETA 2824 base, is entirely immersed in the oil, so thus it is always lubricated, which cuts down on long-term maintenance requirements. And the oil has the exact same index of refraction as the sapphire, so no matter what angle you regard this watch, including underwater, you can always see an undistorted view of the time. It also has spectacular lume, which we will see later. Now you might wonder, how crisp is this dive bezel? It's very crisp, it's sharp, it's positive, it has a loud detent. And I'll also say this, you saw the dial moving because I was moving the case back with the system unlocked. If I lock it up, now there's no such problem. Now the timepiece can be manually wound using the case back, but it's also automatic winding. The oil system is sensitive to temperature, which is why you get a temperature gauge on the dial side. It also features an array of bellows that will handle the expansion and contraction of the oil up to the point, but if you get deep into the blue or the red, it's time to take a little bit of time out. Important to mention, automatic winding, bidirectional 36-hour power reserve, 4 Hz beat rate or 8 beats per second. It does have that seconds runner, and 100 meters water resistant. It's not a hardcore diver. It's certainly no replacement for a sea dweller, but it is the immersible Ressence for which we've pined. And as Ressence currently offers no chronograph, the fact that you do have a bezel that can be used effectively as a 60-minute timer means this is the closest thing Ressence has to a chronograph at the moment. Ressence watches are designed in Belgium but built in Switzerland, which is a wonderful hybrid, and the folks who run the company are nice folks. They ride their bikes to work. People who ride bikes are nice, as long as they're not roadies. I'm a roadie, I would know. You can see that the attention to detail is superb, with black polished screws using to fit the minute ring inside the oil-filled dial. So you have a very unique aesthetic with little bits of high horology flourishes here and there, but primarily a look, an ergonomic equation, and a functional interface that's different from anything else you will ever encounter. I'm going to give you one last look at that setting system, and that sensational Ressence orbital convex system. It's almost like the planets of the solar system, whereby each one moves individually, spinning even as they all orbit the sun, while the sun itself is spinning. Everything moves on this dial. And if you're a watch enthusiast, I can't imagine this won't move your heart. See it and make it yours on the Watchbox. Ressence by night is an enthusiast's delight. If you're wondering how they couple the 2A24 to the Ressence orbital convex system in the oil without soaking the movement in oil below, well, it's a magnetic coupling, and there's shielding to protect the 2A24 from the magnetic system. That's how smart this watch is.